Manufacturer depreciation figures are often marketing fantasies. Today, we're revealing the 18 cars that lose value faster than a smartphone with a cracked screen. These vehicles hemorrhage tens of thousands of dollars while their owners sleep. Stay tuned to discover the number one car that plummets over $85,000 in just 5 years, transforming six-figure dreams into financial nightmares, and potentially saving you from this decade's most expensive mistake. Let's count down the 18 cars that are quietly becoming worthless. Number 18, the Ford Edge. This midsize crossover loses 82% of its value after 3 years. The fact that Ford discontinued it for 2025 speaks volumes. The Edge was never truly bad, just aggressively mediocre. It offered good packaging and decent performance with the ST trim, but its fuel economy was so poor it felt like it was burning premium crude oil instead of gasoline. The market reacted sharply to its discontinuation, causing used values to plummet even further, as buyers are wary of purchasing the last model year of a canceled vehicle with an uncertain future for parts availability. The Edge ST attempted to add performance credibility with its 2.7-liter twin-turbo V6 producing 335 horsepower, but it ultimately felt like paying performance car money for a family hauler that still drove like one. While the ride quality was acceptable and the interior adequate, nothing about the Edge truly stood out against competitors like the Honda Pilot or Toyota Highlander, which will retain significant value after 5 years. For your Edge, however, good luck recouping even half of your original investment. Number 17, the Volvo XC60. This compact luxury SUV loses substantial value in its first 5 years, despite being an objectively excellent vehicle. The core issue isn't the car itself, but its brand perception. The XC60 is packed with cutting-edge safety technology, boasts distinctive Scandinavian design, and offers build quality that rivals many German competitors. However, Volvo lacks the performance cachet of BMW, the status symbolism of Mercedes, or the legendary reliability reputation of Lexus. It finds itself in a niche, appealing to a smaller segment of buyers who prioritize understated luxury and genuine safety engineering over brand prestige. This limited appeal severely impacts resale values. When searching for a used luxury SUV, many buyers are drawn to the badge. The XC60's relative lack of brand heat means it depreciates like a mainstream vehicle, yet demands luxury-level maintenance costs. Its Volvo T6 or T8 powertrains are complex and turbocharged, and the T8 plug-in hybrid, in particular, features enough electrical complexity to make any service advisor sweat. Repairs are far from cheap, a fact well understood by the used car market. The XC60 is a great vehicle, but a terrible investment. Number 16, the Volvo XC90. Volvo's flagship 3-row SUV also suffers significant value loss, despite decades of refinement and recent refreshes designed to enhance its appeal. The culprit is the same brand perception issue that affects its smaller sibling. The XC90 has long been Volvo's quintessential family hauler, with the current generation impressing with its minimalist Scandinavian interior and advanced safety systems. It's spacious, powerful, comfortable, and exceptionally safe. Everything one could desire in a family vehicle. However, Volvo has never cultivated the widespread adoration enjoyed by brands like Audi or BMW. This lack of emotional connection directly translates into poorer resale values. The issue intensifies with the vehicle's age. These SUVs are far from simple. They feature turbocharged and supercharged engines, sophisticated air suspension, intricate infotainment systems, and, on higher trims, a suite of electronic driver aids so complex It almost requires a software engineering degree to diagnose. When components fail, the repairs are costly. The used market factors in these potential future repair bills, causing your XC90 to depreciate faster than simpler competitors. It's the unfortunate fate of a well-engineered vehicle from a brand lacking cult-like loyalty. Number 15. The Hyundai Ioniq 5. The Ioniq 5 is a casualty of the broader electric vehicle depreciation crisis, losing approximately 50% of its value within the first few years. Despite being one of the best electric crossovers available, Hyundai truly excelled with the Ioniq 5's design, featuring retro-futuristic styling that genuinely stands out, an ingeniously clever interior with a sliding center console, an 800-volt charging architecture, capable of adding 322 kilometers of range in just 18 minutes under ideal conditions. The fundamental problem, however, is that none of these impressive features matter when new EV prices are in freefall and battery anxiety is crippling the used market. This creates a depreciation death spiral. Hyundai and Kia are continuously releasing new EVs with improved range and lower prices each year. Furthermore, federal tax credits apply to new vehicles but generally not to used ones, creating a significant price disparity that makes purchasing a used EV financially illogical. Why would one pay $30,000 for a used Ioniq 5 with potentially compromised battery health when a new one, priced at $45,000, can be had for an effective $37,500 after a $7,500 tax credit? The economics simply don't add up, causing used values to plummet. It's a great vehicle, but it's the wrong time to buy one new. Number 14. The Lincoln Navigator. Lincoln's flagship SUV sheds considerable value despite robust sales figures and a dedicated customer base. It suffers from the perennial curse of playing second fiddle to the Cadillac Escalade. For years, the Navigator has been merely adequate, consistently trailing the Escalade in terms of presence, interior quality, and performance. It wasn't a poor vehicle, but it wasn't compelling enough to warrant its price premium over the mechanically similar Ford Expedition. While the 2025 refresh aimed to address many of these criticisms, the damage to resale values was already done. Older Navigators depreciate sharply because the used market discerns the Ford underpinnings beneath the Lincoln badge. You're essentially paying luxury prices for an upscale Expedition, and when repairs are needed, you face luxury tier bills. The twin-turbo V6 is potent but complex, and the air suspension, while providing a beautiful ride, can lead to thousands in repairs when it inevitably fails. Used buyers are well aware of these factors, which is why Navigators lose nearly half their value in 5 years. While the 2025 model may offer improvements, betting on a Lincoln retaining its value is akin to betting on a three-legged horse. Technically possible, but why would you take that risk? Number 13. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class. The S-Class loses a staggering 67% of its value after 5 years, demonstrating that even the self-proclaimed king of luxury sedans is not immune to catastrophic depreciation. Technology evolves rapidly, and this is nowhere more evident than in a vehicle brimming with systems that will be obsolete before its warranty expires. When new, the S-Class embodies the zenith of automotive engineering, offering cutting-edge driver assistance, an interior akin to a private jet, and performance that belies its considerable size. The core issue is that Mercedes integrates so much advanced technology into these flagship models that they age more like smartphones than conventional vehicles. That once amazing infotainment system will feel outdated in 3 years. Those semi-autonomous driving features, the new model will execute them superiorly. The massage seats, ambient lighting, and gesture controls function flawlessly until they don't, at which point repair bills can easily rival a mortgage payment. The used market is keenly aware of this. Few desire a 5-year-old S-Class with 96,560 kilometers on the odometer and a check engine light illuminated, because rectifying its issues often involves deciphering complex German engineering while your bank account suffers. The broader decline of luxury sedans in favor of SUVs further accelerates this value drop. An incredible car, but a terrible store of value. Number 12. The BMW M5. The M5 loses 60% of its value in 5 years, shedding over $71,000, despite being celebrated as one of the finest performance sedans ever constructed. The introduction of the new plug-in hybrid powertrain isn't helping matters. According to IC Cars data from July 2025, the M5 depreciates more severely than almost any other M car, losing 41.7% in just 3 years. A figure that climbs to 60% after 5 years, with dollar losses exceeding the original manufacturer's suggested retail price of a new BMW M2. This depreciation is partly attributable to the shift towards plug-in hybrid technology. The inherent complexity of these systems deters used buyers who are acutely aware that replacing battery packs and electric motors is a costly affair. Another contributing factor is the dwindling demand for performance sedans, a reality reflected in the used market. However, the primary issue is BMW's relentless pace of innovation, which renders older models feeling obsolete remarkably quickly. While the previous generation M5's twin-turbo V8 was spectacular, the new iteration is undeniably better, faster, and more efficient. Who desires yesterday's supercar when tomorrow's is already here? The answer is no one willing to pay what you believe it's worth. Factor in maintenance costs that could fund a small nation's GDP, and you're left with a value proposition that only makes financial sense if you're leasing. Number 11. The BMW M8 Grand Coupe. The M8 Grand Coupe loses 59.6% of its value over 5 years, with $83,475 evaporating like morning fog. The coupe version performs marginally better, depreciating by 54.5%. Both variants unequivocally demonstrate that massive price tags often go hand in hand with massive depreciation. Objectively, the M8 Grand Coupe is a spectacular machine. A twin-turbo V8 delivering over 600 horsepower in competition trim, a cabin that rivals Bentley for luxury, and performance that can embarrass dedicated sports cars. Starting at approximately $140,000 new, it serves as a statement vehicle, though that statement might be, "I have too much money and questionable financial priorities." The stark reality is that a 5-year-old M8, originally costing $140,000, will be worth around $60,000. You've essentially incinerated $80,000 for the dubious privilege of owning a depreciating performance sedan in an era where demand for them is waning. The convertible variant fares marginally better, dropping 38.6% in 3 years and 54.5% in 5. But this offers little solace when you're still losing tens of thousands of dollars annually. These vehicles are primarily lease-only propositions, unless your wealth is such that depreciation is merely rounding error noise. Number 10. The Infiniti QX80. The QX80 loses a staggering 65% of its value in 5 years, a fact that becomes darkly humorous when you consider it's mechanically identical to the Nissan Armada. Essentially, you're paying a luxury premium to accelerate your financial losses. Until the arrival of the all-new 2025 generation, the QX80 was largely an afterthought. Burdened by ancient architecture, dismal fuel economy despite underperforming many competitors, and an interior that, while decent, wasn't sufficiently distinct from its Nissan counterpart to justify the significant price difference. RepairPal grants it a 3.5 out of 5. 0 reliability rating, which sounds acceptable until you discover it still ranks first out of 19 luxury full-size SUVs. This statistic reveals more about the poor state of this segment than the inherent quality of the QX80. Common problem areas include air suspension failures, electrical gremlins that can drain batteries overnight, and timing chain issues on earlier QX56 models. The used market factors all these potential liabilities into its pricing, meaning your $80,000 luxury SUV could be worth as little as $28,000 in 5 years. While the 2025 redesign might alter this trend, historical data indicates that Infiniti's badge simply doesn't command the resale premiums that Lexus or even Cadillac can achieve. Number 9. The Cadillac Escalade, ESV. The extended-length Escalade loses 9% of its value in 5 years, with $56,996 simply vanishing. Even America's beloved luxury SUV cannot defy financial gravity when it's this expensive and technologically intricate. The Escalade ESV serves as Cadillac's flagship, and when new, it is genuinely impressive. Its curved OLED display is visually stunning. The available Super Cruise hands-free driving system performs admirably, and the sheer presence of an Escalade in your driveway undeniably signals success. However, all this technology comes at a significant cost, and not just at the point of purchase. The 2021 through 2024 models, equipped with the 6.2-liter V8 engine, have faced massive recalls, with 597,571 units affected by connecting rod and crankshaft defects that can lead to complete engine failure. Another recall impacts 463,295 units, where a transmission control valve can fail, potentially locking up the rear wheels while driving. These are not minor inconveniences. These are catastrophic failures that decimate buyer confidence. When used car buyers are aware that your luxury SUV might require a new engine before reaching 96,560 kilometers, they factor that substantial risk into their offers. Combine this with known transmission problems, magnetic ride control failures, and AC system issues, and you have a recipe for a value retention disaster, despite the Escalade's significant cultural cachet. Number 8. The Polestar 2. The Polestar 2 is plagued by the sharp value fluctuations and rapid depreciation common to electric vehicles, exacerbated by originating from a brand largely unknown to most buyers. It's Volvo's electric spin-off, attempting to establish itself as a premium brand, but the market remains unconvinced. Launched for the 2021 model year, with reasonable pricing for a luxury EV and Volvo-like build quality, the Polestar 2 nonetheless fell short on efficiency and range compared to rapidly improving competitors. A 2024 Wired article observed that the Polestar 2 is notorious for sharp and frequent value fluctuations, which is dealer jargon for nobody knows what this thing is worth, and nobody wants to find out. The brand recognition issue compounds every other problem. Polestar's separation from Volvo to become an independent entity, while sounding impressive in press releases, means little to used car buyers who seek established brands with proven service networks. When your EV requires service, you need an accessible dealer network. Polestar's limited presence translates to restricted service options, which, in turn, severely limits its resale appeal. Combine this with the pervasive EV depreciation crisis, and you're left with a well-built vehicle that loses value far faster than its specifications would suggest it should. Number 7. The Tesla Model X. The Model X loses a significant 4% of its value after 5 years, with 53,000 $846 disappearing into thin air. Those iconic falcon wing doors are certainly cool, right up until you become the second owner grappling with their inevitable repair bills. Tesla's flagship SUV is afflicted by all the factors contributing to the brand's broader depreciation crisis. Relentless new vehicle price cuts that devastate used values, rapid technological advancements that quickly render older models obsolete, and a deluge of new EV options from established manufacturers. According to IC Cars, between March 2024 and March 2025, the Model X lost 73% of its value in a single year, equating to over $4,000 gone. Beyond these general EV issues, the Model X has its own unique set of problems. Its signature falcon wing doors are mechanical nightmares, prone to failure, and when they do, repair costs are astronomical. The air suspension provides a comfortable ride until it requires replacement, a repair that can easily run into thousands of dollars. Furthermore, the minimalist interior tends to show wear quickly, and Tesla's build quality has never been its strongest attribute. With newer rivals now offering superior range, faster charging, and genuinely functional build quality, the used market sees no justification for paying Tesla's former premium prices. The Model X was impressive upon its launch, but now it's simply expensive. Number 6. The Maserati Levante. The Levante loses 7% of its value in 5 years, with $64,991 vanishing from a luxury SUV that seemingly couldn't decide whether it wanted to be sporty or comfortable, ultimately failing at both. Maserati's reliability reputation is notoriously toxic, and the Levante fully earned its share of that notoriety. During its time under FCA ownership, the Levante and Ghibli were consistently ranked among the least reliable high-end vehicles on the market, sharing company with their Chrysler and Jeep stablemates. Common issues include pervasive suspension problems, electrical failures stemming from malfunctioning sensors, persistent brake issues, power steering failures, and fuel system leaks that necessitated recalls. While the Levante offered an upscale design and enticing engine options, including a fantastic-sounding growling V8 in Trofeo trim, that captivating exhaust note cannot conceal the vehicle's fundamental shortcomings: questionable long-term reliability, exorbitant maintenance costs, and limited dealer support, all of which make ownership a considerable gamble. The used market is acutely aware of these factors, which is why a Levante that originally cost over $100,000 new is typically worth only about $36,000 after 5 years. Even at that significantly reduced price, it's rarely a good deal. You're often just acquiring someone else's expensive problem at a steep discount. Number 5. The Maserati Ghibli. The Ghibli loses 7% of its value in 5 years, and broader brand data suggests some model years shed up to an astonishing 82% of their original value. This vehicle serves as the quintessential example of why buying a new Maserati is a perilous financial decision. The Ghibli represented Maserati's effort to introduce a more accessible luxury sedan intended to compete with the likes of the BMW 5 Series and Mercedes E-Class. It failed spectacularly. While its twin-turbo V6 produced an appealing sound, the car often felt underpowered. The interior featured materials that seemed more appropriate for a Chrysler 300, largely because many of the switchgear components were, quite literally, sourced from Chrysler. Owners frequently discovered Dodge parts concealed beneath Italian leather, which is less a mark of authentic character and more a clear case of parts bin raiding. Its reliability is catastrophic, with issues ranging from melting interior materials in early models, expensive clutch problems, excessive noise, and premature tire wear to a pervasive sense that Maserati engineers simply abandoned development halfway through. Carbuzz aptly labels it one of the worst depreciating cars of all time, and they are not wrong. The sole silver lining of the Ghibli's dramatic depreciation is that it makes these cars affordable for used buyers who relish financial masochism and maintain an excellent relationship with their mechanic. Number 4. The Maserati Quattroporte. The Quattroporte loses an astonishing 83% of its value in 5 years, transforming a $139,000 flagship sedan into a $23,000 cautionary tale. This is Maserati's premier sedan, theoretically positioned to rival the Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series. It unequivocally fails to do so. While the Quattroporte boasts classic Maserati styling and that intoxicating Italian exhaust note, beneath the surface lies a reliability nightmare, compounded by severe depreciation and maintenance costs that would make even a Ferrari owner flinch. Common problems include persistent electrical gremlins, suspension failures, transmission issues, and, specifically in the 2006 and 2014 models, interior materials that literally melted in the heat. These are not minor annoyances. They represent fundamental engineering failures. Car Edge data indicates an average maintenance cost of $9,262 over 10 years, which, surprisingly, is better than the segment average. However, this is akin to being the healthiest patient in the intensive care unit. The Quattroporte's 65% chance of requiring major repairs is indeed better than comparable vehicles, but you are still essentially rolling the dice with every kilometer driven. With an 83% depreciation rate, you could literally purchase 2 used Quattroportes for the value lost on just one new one. Number 3. The Nissan Leaf. The Leaf loses 1% of its value in 5 years, equating to approximately $18,000 for the more affordable models. However, the true narrative here is the battery degradation nightmare that is systematically destroying its used market. Nissan designed the Leaf with cost efficiency as a primary concern, which notoriously meant omitting a liquid-cooled thermal management system essential for preserving battery life. Instead, they opted for passive air cooling, which, predictably, performs poorly. In warmer climates, or with frequent DC fast charging, the batteries degrade catastrophically. Owners commonly report 15% degradation by the 4th year, with some units showing only 50% to 60% state of health after high mileage or heavy fast charging use. The practical consequences are brutal. First-generation Leafs with 24 kilowatt-hours batteries offered 135 kilometers of range when new. Post-degradation, owners frequently report a mere 24 to 32 kilometers of usable range. While you might find used Leafs for as little as $3,000, this seemingly attractive price quickly dissipates when you realize a replacement battery pack often costs more than the car itself. The dashboard displays battery health through capacity bars. Dropping to 6 or 7 bars out of 12 indicates severely compromised range. Nimblefin's analysis reveals that by year 5, most Leafs have fallen to 6 bars, signifying substantial capacity loss. Some 2013 models now retain a mere 7. 71% of their original manufacturer's suggested retail price, a depreciation rate catastrophic even by EV standards. Number 2. The BMW 7 Series. The 7 Series loses a staggering 1% of its value in 5 years, shedding $65,249. Only one vehicle depreciates faster, making the 7 Series' second-place finish almost impressive given the widespread value erosion across this list. BMW's flagship sedan incorporates every technology the company can engineer into a luxurious wrapper, a design philosophy that benefits the initial owner but transforms into a nightmare for subsequent buyers. The current generation has been subject to multiple serious recalls, including brake system failures where welds in the integrated brake control module can fracture, leading to a loss of power, assist, and rear brake function. There have also been steering spindle failures, requiring significantly greater effort to control the vehicle, and recurring brake issues affecting both 2023 and 2024 model years. Beyond these recalls, the fundamental problem is technology obsolescence. That once amazing iDrive 8.5 system with its curved display will feel ancient in 3 years when the next generation is launched. The hands-free highway assistant, which allows you to drive without touching the wheel, will be surpassed by newer, more advanced iterations. This relentless technological treadmill means used buyers perceive a 7 Series as a rapidly depreciating tech gadget rather than a durable luxury vehicle. Combine this with BMW's historically questionable long-term reliability. Early 2000s models were plagued with electrical problems and transmission failures, and you have a recipe for a value retention disaster. At 67% depreciation, you are effectively losing more than the cost of a new Civic every year you own this vehicle. Number 1. The Jaguar I-Pace. The I-Pace loses a staggering 2% of its value in 5 years, with $51,953 simply evaporating. It stands as the fastest depreciating vehicle in America, losing more value than any other car, truck, or SUV on the market. This catastrophic loss is the unfortunate confluence of being a Jaguar, being an electric vehicle, and being discontinued all at once. Jaguar, as a brand, has consistently struggled with depreciation. British luxury cars are renowned for their beauty until they inevitably break, which, for Jaguars, happens frequently. The I-Pace compounded this issue by being an EV, launched precisely when EV values began to crater, and then Jaguar decided to discontinue it after the 2024 model year, as the company embarks on a rather bizarre rebrand strategy. From an objective standpoint, the I-Pace, thanks to legendary designer Ian Callum, is undeniably one of the better-looking EVs of the past decade. It produced 394 horsepower, featured a well-designed interior, and drove better than one might expect from a brand not primarily known for dynamic driving characteristics. However, its range was subpar compared to competitors, and its handling failed to truly live up to Jaguar's sporting heritage. Furthermore, the brand's notoriously poor reliability, reputation terrified used buyers who correctly understand that fixing a broken Jaguar EV requires locating a specialized dealer and possessing a checkbook with no discernible limit. The pattern across this list is unmistakable. EVs are in freefall. Luxury brands with reliability problems are toxic, and technology-heavy vehicles age with the lifespan of fruit flies. If you bought any of these cars new in the past 5 years, congratulations, you've participated in one of the most expensive hobbies available outside of yacht ownership. If you're contemplating buying one used, understand that you are attempting to catch a falling knife. The intelligent approach, if you value your money, is to avoid these 18 vehicles entirely. And if you're curious about which cars Americans continue to purchase despite knowing better, be sure to check out our video on 15 cars Americans keep buying out of habit, not because they're good, because sometimes the worst financial decisions are the ones we make on autopilot.